Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of In Conversation with Rudy. This time I am not on my own. In fact, I am never on my own because I love to be with people. Today I've got a panel of 4 guys that I have known for over 5 years, if I can say. And today we're just going to talk about everything related to being a man in today's time, how we grew up, where we come from, and basically where we're going. On my left, I have someone I know for 10 years, my friend, my brother, Corbin, very good guy, someone I really, really appreciate. Next to him, I have Credo Unamaka, one of the nicest guys I know. I met him through my cousin Naomi, and ever since then we've been good vibes. Samuel, I saw him for the first time in 2014. I was in high school, and ever since then we've been cool. And this guy, we were forced to be friends because we were in university and we were studying something we didn't want to study, and now we're inseparable. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Boys, thank you so much for coming. Or men, gents, whatever. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, shout out
to you, bro.
I just wanted to talk today, just conversation. It's our own views. We're not trying to bash anybody. We're not trying to be controversial or whatever. We just want to have an open conversation. Like I said, I could have chosen so many other guys, but I firmly believe that, God ordained for me to choose the 4 of you. So It's all good. So we're going to ask questions. We're going to talk. We're going to be open and just, see where it goes. I have one question here that I really want to start with that says, what would you tell your 16-year-old self? Straight away.
Sheesh.
That's boss, man. A lot. A hell of a lot.
That's
they say hindsight is the best side, so
100%, yeah.
I'll jump straight into it. I would tell my 16-year-old self to be less risk averse and more financially wise.
You
Not
say
stupid financial decisions.
you spend stupidly.
Yes, on things that in hindsight you're looking like, why the fuck did I even buy this? And I think the reason why I would tell myself that is because growing up, when I grew up, I didn't have access to a financial advisor. I mean, I didn't know that a financial advisor exists. Growing up in a freaking traditional Congolese household, that was the least of priorities, financial education. And obviously we don't get that at school. So only later when you start working, you realize that, hey, it's a good idea to get a financial advisor. And then you realize how much money you could have saved up in a retirement annuity. But for example, if you hadn't bought those suits or whatever, stupid
Especially for him.
I mean, look, not only fashion or clothing. What did we used to buy when we were in high school in 16?
Shoes. Going out with friends.
Didn't you?
Going out with friends. A whole lot of going out with friends and entertainment.
Yeah. Guys, I'll give you guys a side story of how I met San. So we were 16, it was at Cares Social. So I went to high school at Cares. So Sai was this tall, light-skinned guy. Homie comes in with, y'all remember when we used to have like the Louis V scarves? Homie comes, Louis V scarf.
That was one of the biggest.
That's what he means by expensive. When the girl's not dying, it was hectic. So but I'm with you with that. But I think with me specifically, and just also jump into it, I'd say that get used to doing the hard things. So let the hard things become, you get into the habit of doing the hard things. Because a lot of the times when you're 16, I went to an all boys school, so you focus on sport. At the same time, I want to focus on sport, but at the same time I want to go to uni. So how can I do the easiest things the quickest way so that I can still be great at sport and good enough for school for me to go to uni, and at the same time, you're 16-year-old, entertain these young 16-year-old girls for you to be the vibe. So I think, and I think that it's a detriment in the sense that when you get to varsity and you get a lot older, you start to do the hard things, you literally have to beat yourself to do it. It's like, this is so hard. But all my friends, all other guys that I knew who got into the habit of doing the hard things earlier, now life is a breeze, because whenever something hard comes, they get excited by it.
What's a hard thing?
A hard thing is like,
just about us the same question.
yeah, for example, let me give you an example. So, for instance, what's a hard thing, and I'll make it as practical as possible, is, for instance, you have, and certain people grew up with that discipline already, you know what I'm saying? And some of us, it's not really, the discipline was there, but you're trying to find the easy way out. So, for example, you know that you have a few maths homeworks and here and there, you have a few English homework and a few assignments that are lined up. So which is like, okay, cool, you know what, I understand this, I know how to get it, I'm smart enough. 2 days in, I can pop this in, but what's more important, I'll spend like 2 weekends practicing and making sure that my body is in good condition for a basketball tournament that's in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I neglected on certain aspects because I knew I was good at it, and then other aspects I was like, okay, let me focus on that. But I think I will tell myself, be holistic in what you do. So be consistent. As you are consistent in sport, please also be consistent in your academics, because the men that really make it are the ones that are fully balanced, you know, and are disciplined in the sense of knowing that, yes, I'm good at this, yes, I'm good at that, but being wholesome is what makes an impact.
Wholesome gent.
Fam, you know, not chakra. Wholesome.
I'll definitely call that, doing the hard things. And if you had to go back to growing up being a teenager, the hard things apart from school are maybe chores, when we used to have chores. Yeah. And I used to look for shortcuts when you're doing chores. What's the quickest way to do the dishes, or to get to not make the bed or whatever? You just, like when you're making your bed, you just boom, out. But then down the line, fast forward how many years later, there's a video that I'm sure we've all seen of some guy, I think he's a Navy SEAL or something in the States, and he said, if you want to be great, start by making your bed. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, whatever. And then a few months down the line, I'm like, let me go back and digest that video. And then I said, okay, let me try. And then I made it a habit to be disciplined enough to do something as menial as making your bed. And you know what? You start off your day on the right foot when you make your bed, because it's a tedious task that you've done that is not difficult, but it's no one likes to do chores. It's out of the way.
Yeah.
But it sets your mindset up for the day. Funny enough, it's like, okay, I've got my first task done for the day. Not difficult, but task out of the way. You sort of feel like, let me do everything else that will come my way that is difficult today, because you've started your day off on the right foot. As opposed to taking shortcuts, probably you'll find that the rest of the chores or tasks that you have to do down the line during the day, you'll also take shortcuts.
I want to ask these two guys, what would you guys change about yourselves? Because they covered the 16-year-old thing. What's one thing you would change about yourself, and why? I'll go first. I think I would change the fact that I am too intense. When I do something, I am intense. When I feel, I am intense. I want to find a way to tone it down, if I'm being honest. And I don't know how. So I need to find a way to tone that down. Intense example. Quick example. Today we're shooting at 2 o'clock and we're ready, and then the cameras are not picking up the light correctly. And I'm like, okay, no, come on, cameras, do your thing. And Leon is calling me on the side, really move like this, and I move and nothing is working, and then the mics are not plugged in, and then it's like, oh my gosh, time is going. Why can't I just be like, alright, cool, I'll wait. Everything's gonna be okay, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna shoot. I've done this. This is my 40th episode, I think. I've done this since 2019. I know how it goes. Why am I still so intense? You know what I mean?
Your standards, maybe. Maybe your standards
are they too high?
I think they are. Who defines too high or not? You define it. So in my opinion, it's a level of perfection and your standards. You want things to work a certain way by a certain time, because we're starting at 2, cameras must be ready 30 minutes before. So I don't think there's anything wrong with your standards. I just think that you're very passionate about what you do, and it comes across as being intense. Yeah,
and then that intensity can come out to an individual or someone or a family member of me being impulsive and quick to anger, but I just want to get it done. Another example, my sister's asking for the Coke, and I'm like, bro, we're about to shoot. Why are you asking for Coke now? She will see it as me being angry, but I'm seeing it as I want to work, So I'm too intense. Does that make sense, by the way?
I get what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
You're also a little bit of a perfectionist, maybe?
You like behind the camera says yes a lot.
I resonate with that.
Yeah, I really want things to be done well, because I asked you guys to come through, for example, right? And I wanted to make sure that I am prepared. I mean, I sent you guys a photo in the group at 11 that the cameras are set up.
I'm still at church.
Imagine, you were still at church probably as well. You probably hadn't showered, but I'm like, boom,
So
I'm ready to
why
man
him?
there.
Why him?
Because he was home. I was at work, church, he was home. I hadn't showered as well. I was like, okay, before I shower, I'm gonna make sure the cameras are set, the questions are ready, and then the guys can see that I'm prepared for them. But I'm too intense. I feel like I'm too intense. Is there a way to change that before you guys answer the questions?
I resonate with it because there's an element of my personality that's the same, and I call it's intensity. I call it passion. The passion that I put behind everything that I do, driven by excellence, is not always interpreted by others as passion, rather by too demanding, he's overbearing, standards are too high, etc. In terms of toning down, because you said, is there a way to tone it down? Yeah. There is. I think there's always a way to tone it down. How I've toned it down, because my personality is exactly like that, is by just telling myself, dude, chill. Because it's constantly, when it has surged its head out towards other people, it constantly gets misinterpreted as something negative. Because if you are that passionate that you need your tray of Cokes to be out of the shot 10 minutes before we start shooting, and it's just like, dude, chill. And you're like, no, but they need to be out. Yeah. She's interpreting it in another way. But unfortunately for you, you live with people. You have to integrate and live and be with people, and not seek to always impose your way and how you think things should be.
Because it's a fear of mine going to relationships. When I do find someone and I eventually settle.
Are you single?
I'm single.
How long have you been single?
2.5 years.
Why is you so shocked?
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, poor girl. Obviously, when you're with someone, you understand each other, you understand each other, you work around each other. But I don't want to be a burden in this element for her, So I think it weighs on my mind a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, really bad.
Unless you find someone like you. Unless you find someone that has the same standards as you.
Be with someone like me. It's hard.
So you know you're very.
No, when it comes to things getting done, let's say this hand tells me, babes, I want to open a boutique in 2 months' time. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, you're going to open it a week before 2 months. And every week, okay, babe, show me the proof. Where's the research, the proposals, the this, the that, A, B, C. And she can be a type of worker on like, nah, babe, I'll do it. Don't worry, I'll do it. I'm not a don't worry guy. If you're going to do it. That's the type of guy I am. You know what I mean? So how do I change that intensity?
You just answered your question.
So that I, prepare for my home.
Didn't you just say it's hard?
Yeah.
Being yourself? Is in dealing with yourself. You dealing with yourself?
In this element of my life, yeah.
Okay, so now put yourself in your girl's shoes and then realize that would I date me? Would I accept all aspects of my personality if I was someone else? If no, that element, then change it.
Oh, that's a nice answer. Credo's like, what?
I'm like, this is very intense. But I want to hear what y'all have to say.
What did you guys change about yourself, if you want to feed off of what I've said?
Okay, from my side, I think, I don't know, I think I will allude to what you said, Rudy. Like, I'm also a bit, how can I say, impulsive at times. Whereas, like, if I could just sometimes say to myself before I speak to somebody, as you said, let me just calm down, take a moment just to relax and think about what I'm going to say, because I feel like a lot of people also, like, as you said, they misinterpret what you're actually trying to get across, but the way in which you say it can actually like scare them off. And I feel like personally, they may have chased away certain people in my life because of the way I've come across. So I think maybe, I know they say don't change who you are, but in the end, I think maybe I wish I could just take a few moments before I spoke to people or before I responded to somebody to say, you know what, just calm down, think nicely about what they said, and then come across in a manner which they will understand better and they will interpret better, because we're not all the same, and in the end, they may interpret it in a different way than what you're trying to say. So I think that's.
Do you do anything right now today to change that? Like, do you actually think before you speak, like purposefully?
Currently, no. If I'm being honest, because
you want to do
as
it.
I said, I do want to try, but
you don't think before you speak?
No, of course, but sometimes especially like people who I speak to, if I may say, on a regular basis, I just,
It's second nature.
it's
Response to something like second nature.
Exactly. So, I would like to, but as I said, like sometimes, and as you said as well, it's hard to change the way you are because that's how you are, that's how you operate. But in the end, I guess it can come back to bite you sometimes. So I think, that is the one thing that I
Trust me, you need to work on this thing. But off camera, we'll. Rams, boy, what's one thing you change about yourself, bro?
One thing I'll change about myself is how I critique myself. I'm my biggest critic. Everything I do, I'm so hard on myself. I'll say you can do this way better than what you did. It can be as good to everyone else, but to me, I'll critique it to the core. So I think I want to change it. Like one thing you said when you asked in the beginning, what is one thing you tell yourself when you're 16 years old? I want to go back to that mindset. When I was 16 years old, I was my biggest fan. Like, whatever I'll do, I'll be like, boy, you go, you got this. And growing up, I started criticizing a lot of the things I do, not in a negative way, but in a way to pursue better than what I'm doing. Everything can be so perfect right now. I'll be like, nah, you can do better than that, or you can achieve way better than that. So I think...
So what, you're never satisfied with your work?
I'm never fully satisfied.
Is this for other people as well, or just everything related to you and what you do?
Okay, towards other people, I think maybe you can answer that part.
100% I can.
So, even if I'm working with a group of my friends, we're doing something, it is perfect, everybody's loving us, so we can do better than that. So, there's just this hunger, and at one point I'm just like, okay, what I really would like to change about it is appreciate the moment and value the moment and live in the moment, don't live in the future.
I want to add accountability to this in the sense that do we have a friend or a best friend or a brother that keeps you in check, that calls you out on your BS, that puts you in line, that helps you, that you can confide in? Do you have that as gents? And how important is it to have it?
Sure. Yeah, I would say that's very important. I think it's the pillar of any true manly development, in the sense that for you to become better and for you to become a better man, you definitely have to have someone that tells you that you, first of all, before you have that, it's someone that you can confide in and you can be vulnerable with. And once you're vulnerable with that person, then you're able to tell him, share everything that you're going through and certain decisions that you're making. But I think what's also important with that, I believe that you only truly become fully emancipated as a man is once your spiritual journey is in time. And spiritual for me, I'll say believe in God and the Holy Trinity, God, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Because sometimes you say God, people get confused. So you have to say the real God. And it's a man that holds you accountable, someone that holds you accountable from that spiritual perspective and how you keep that sharp and how you do your day-to-day life sharp. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very important. It's very important for your growth. It's very important for your relationships and any form of relationship that is. I have one. I have someone that does that. It was always on a call and stuff. So man. Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. I have, and I'm so blessed. I always say this so proudly and out loud that I am very blessed with an amazing support system from males and females within my environment, from family related, friends, just friends, family that I'm related to, and friends that have become family. I've got these two seated next to me. I've known them for years, and in their own ways, they keep me in track, especially him, because now we work together, we do things together, we have projects together, and if I just take some time to send through a proposal or an email, he's on me, and vice versa. And like I said, we work together, so we have a group of friends, and we balance each other out because he wants to, go at people, and I'm always like, tone it down. And I've seen the improvement in that because something happened recently, and he told me, it's like, no, listen, I didn't tell you that I've been doing this behind the scenes because I didn't want to cause issues, but I believe it's from the amount of times I told him no, calm down, relax, you know. So I think he knows what I'm talking about. I think it's so important to have that. Also having uncles and a dad present and around, there to go to and speak to, is a good thing to have. And I need to do the same thing for my kids, especially my male babies when I have them, and to continue being that for my friends, because I can't keep saying I want accountability and I don't give that. I take my responsibilities as a friend super serious to my boys, in terms of being there for them, because you know we can stop so much rubbish happening in the world, GBV and stuff, through being very honest in our friendships as James. I'm super serious on being there for my boys, and for my boys being there for me. That I can even get touched if I feel like you're not there as my boy, because you're supposed to be doing this life together. Do you know what I mean? This is why we're here.
What does being there look like to you guys?
Being there, anything as small as, my guy, I'm hungry, can you give me $50? You know, there's so many times he will go on dates or vice versa, and it's like, listen, I don't have cash, can you hook me up, I'm going on this date. We would never say, why are you going on this date, you don't have cash. We'd be like, let me see what I can do, bro. But if I have to borrow for you, I will. But I'm being there for him. You know, I'm being there
Where's
for him.
the accountability in that?
Where's the accountability in that?
Sending your boy to a date, bro.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But he's not going broke because I got him, and he's gonna get me. He's gonna give me back. Maybe not financially, but he's gonna be there for me somewhere else, because it's not tit for tat in a bad way. It's tit for tat. I got you today. Tomorrow you got me. I got you today. Tomorrow you got me.
Just to add on that, I mean,
it's fun.
We all know iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And the one thing you mentioned is like when it comes to more serious things, like business-wise, we'll be like, yo, Rudy, you haven't sent a proposal. It's been a week, bro. Stop sleeping. Stop procrastinating. And at times I come off aggressive, but a passive aggression, where I'm like, yo, where's the work? So like, and it's vice versa. What he does as well. That's accountability right there, where you're keeping your boy accountable for what they were meant to, and not just sitting back and be like, you didn't do your part, bro, so I'm gonna do my part. If you fail, then it's on you.
That's
no,
so bad, yeah.
Iron sharpens iron.
If the date was a joke, but other stuff, like even crying in front of your boys is so key. Like,
y'all cry in front of each other?
Yeah, like once or twice it happened. Maybe not with
Once
COVID, but
or
we have
twice
open
a
about
week.
other stuff.
Once or twice a week we get
It's
together.
Oh, seriously? Nah, so what was the reason of the crying? What happened?
That one, not to go
If
into
you don't
too
mind
much
me
detail, that was
asking.
we were at a restaurant, we're eating before work.
At a restaurant?
Yeah, we had lunch before work.
Okay.
No, I didn't cry that day. It was, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think we're talking about.
No, I just want to know this. Like, it's like, wow.
Not to go into detail, I think we were talking about working hard and him wanting to do it for his mom, right? And that was a point that hit the both of us. So now I'm like, okay, if one of us are crying, the other one can't. So the other one needs to hold the fort whilst the other one is down, so that we can come back up together. And that's what it is, you know. That's accountability. It's like, okay, my boy is not strong right now. I need to be there, you know. And then vice versa. Like, I don't really cry with maybe tears, but I'll complain. I'll be like, yo, dog, or I won't respond to his messages, or I won't do something, and he'll be like, what's up? You know, do your thing. Let me know what's up. You know, we talk, we open. And this is not just me and him, but I've got other guys that I do that with as well. So,
from my side, I wouldn't say there's like a particular person or any single person that I go to confide in or get advice from. I would say I don't have a set mentor, right? If I can put it that way. I would say, like, as Rudy alluded to, like, it's basically my friendship group and my group of friends who I go to, who I ask for advice, who I wouldn't say I confide in anybody though. I'm one of those people who tend to, I don't know, some people think it's a bad thing. I think somewhat it is bad, but like tend to bottle things up, because the way I was like brought up, it's like, you're a man, don't complain, don't, people don't want to hear about your complaints. Rather, do something in order to, alleviate those pains that you're feeling from whatever you may be going through. So, I don't know. Like, when I'm really down and out, I'll definitely reach out to my friendship group. But in terms of confiding and mentorship and getting advice, I would say that there's nobody that I really, on a, I don't know if you can call it a formal basis, go to and talk to them about these things. So yeah, that's the situation I find myself in.
How's
That
that
was my
been?
next question. I was like, is having a mentor as a man important? I want someone to answer that for him.
How's that been working for you? You-
I would say, everybody is different, but I would say that, somewhat, I guess it has worked to an extent, but as you said that, having, if I may say, a fellow man which is there to guide you and help you and mentor you, I think it is very important in our growth, in our development as men, because I feel like a lot of people, or a lot of young men in life in general, they get lost along the way simply because they don't have a father figure or a senior male figure who they can look up to and get advice from, confide in. So I think it is actually very important to have one. The question is, if you don't have one, who is the right person to get? Who do you confide in? Who and how do you go about getting towards such a person? So I think it is important to have, but I think, at the end of the day, you will get one when the timing is right. I don't think it's important. I don't think it's good to, just because you hear people talking about it, okay, let me go get a mentor, let me go
I agree.
get someone to confide in, just because that's what everybody is doing. I think it'll come in time. Just because it hasn't happened until a certain point in your life doesn't mean it won't happen. But I do believe it is important. That's what I think.
Is having a mentor important?
Just to add to
Definitely.
what you're saying.
I think it is definitely important on any level, professionally, spiritually, and just on a day-to-day basis. Because if you want to talk about accountability, that should form part of a mentorship relationship. Because who are you accountable to at the end of the day? If you have a situation where a man is not accountable to anyone, let's paint a picture, okay? A man who has made it in life, has everything he needs, money, this, that, and third, good health, but has no limits. Let's even say it has no moral limits, and is thus not accountable to anyone. What won't he do? Where do you draw the line in terms of just being a decent man? I think that line probably might be blurred if there's no accountability in your life to say, that was off. No, don't do that. Do this. In terms of mentorship, definitely important, because how do you plan to navigate life if you've never done it before? A mentor, the point of the mentorship program or relationship is to drink from a well that's done it before. So usually it's someone who's older and has more experience that can tell you, don't make that investment because I've done it before and it doesn't work. What works well or better is rather making this investment. If you're talking professionally, if you're talking life, then it's usually someone who has done life before but is still alive. So he's been where you've been before, right? And say,
indeed.
say hold up. Don't, I don't know what relates to us. Think twice before you engage in this relationship. And then he'll maybe help you understand the person that you are looking to date, for example. If you come to him with that and say, hey man, I found this girl, what do you think? And then he'll be able to coach you. Or if it's anything else, then he'll be able to guide you with his experience that he's had. So if you don't have a mentor, my question is, you're doing this life thing alone. And there's no set manual for life, apart from my manual, which is the Bible. That's the manual that I use. But other than that, my mentor, I have a few, but one of my mentors guides me in life, using the Bible as a sort of a roadmap to life, as well as his own personal life experiences, and I see only benefits in that. If I didn't have that, or if I didn't have any mentors, how would you figure out? It's like trying to read a map, but you can't read a map. Or trying to go somewhere, but you don't have a map. Yeah, you can sometimes make it by luck, by chance, but along the way, a mentor will definitely help you, I promise you, avoid certain mistakes, help you get to certain places or landmarks in life faster, just because of the fact that they know how to do it and they've done it before. Not to say that you must live your life according to the mentor.
100%, I agree.
What they do is they guide you. You will still have to carve your own path within the guide of a mentor. Very important in my opinion.
how important is it to listen to what the mentor is saying? Because remember, they can tell you, but if you're stubborn, then what's the point? So I think it's a two-way street. The mentor obviously do his job properly, but we have the responsibility as men, as young men, to actually listen. True or false?
Yeah, it's true, man. I think, how old are you now?
I'm turning 25 in November.
25. I was 26 years old. I started working for this company. Also in mining space, consulting in geospatial data. The CEO who was there was about 6 years older than me. He was about 32. He was the CEO, and I was like, yo, bruh, you are the MVP. I like how you move. And I would like you to be my mentor. Going towards the conversation, then I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. It's like, Credo, here's the thing I'm going to tell you. Say, in life, a lot of people tell you about having a mentor, X, Y, and Z. But what I can tell you for a fact, I don't specifically have a mentor, but I have people around me that are sharp enough and smart enough that I lean from. And I think sometimes people are so obsessed with the mentor aspect. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think sometimes the friendship that you have and the people that you have around you can sharpen you enough for you to get to where you need to get to. And I think it also revolves around what you said about the vulnerability aspect of it. How vulnerable are you with your mates about something that you're going through for them to sharpen you? Because I know if I speak to you about any form of aspects of auditing, you'll have a lot more experience than me. And then you're always like, dude, when it comes to mining, this is how we audit and this is how we do it. So be smart about it, and then boom. I think that's how. Because sometimes we go look for these old people. Find the old people, they don't have time for you.
Yeah.
They tell you things don't relate to you. You're just like, So, yeah.
And that's very true. Also, when it comes to mentorship, what's very important, especially when it comes to the men's society, is we tend to, like my brother mentioned here, to bottle things up. We feel like, listen, there's this stereotype behind men. Men don't cry, like he mentioned in the beginning. Like men don't cry.
No.
Men must be.
I didn't.
They don't. Men don't cry.
Somebody mentioned.
I didn't say men don't cry. Fredo said men don't
Must
cry.
cry to God. Because people don't care.
That's what I was going to say.
Must go cry to God.
See, there's these stereotypes about men, men don't cry, men should be like this, men must be upright, men must be this. It's important when you go into your mentor, when you have a mentor, even a group of friends, like you mentioned, that sharpens you, that you are completely honest with them. I mean, it's easy for somebody to help you when they know what you're going through than if you are having this facade and hiding what's really deep inside. So being open helps you. It gives you a form of freedom, first by yourself. It gives you a sense of freedom. It alleviates that burden you have. Secondly, it helps your next to actually assist you somewhere, somehow, especially if it's a mentor. If you're going to go to this mentor and you're hiding 2 steps, if there's 5 steps, you're only giving me 1 step. I'm going to guide you from the 1 step you gave me. But if you're hiding the 4 steps, then I don't know what you're going through. Same thing could be your mentor, your spiritual mentor. Let's example, the Bible says no sex before marriage. You go have sex. And now this mentor is praying to God, please keep him until marriage. You already had it. You're making this man work extra hard for something that you already done because you chose to hide it. And he's mentoring you in such a manner that is like, I'm preventing my boy from ABCD. Not knowing that the boy is past the bridge. So the prayer needs to change now. So it's just very important for us as men to learn to open up, not to everybody of course, but open up with the right people that you trust and that you feel you won't feel judged. And that's one thing also we suffer with in our men's society. Yeah. That the moment you start opening your mouth, you get judged.
Could I just judge you guys because you cry? So, I mean, look, touching on what Corbin said is that how do you find a mentor, okay? Looping it to what Credo said is that you're going to find someone, maybe find someone that doesn't have time for you, that doesn't relate to you. Sure. I think how to find a mentor is to identify. They say if you want to be great, you got to emulate the greats. If you are lucky enough to be in a space where you can reach out to someone that you aspire to, then do it. For me, it was very easy because it was my father. He's one of them. And I'm blessed because he gives me spiritual mentorship as well as life mentorship, all in one person. So there's that element of it. I'm also otherwise lucky because my older brothers give me professional mentorship because they've been where I am now. But then other than that, I don't want to only keep it to my immediate family. Then that's when I reach out to not maybe a formal mentor and say, please be my mentor from today, but people around me that sharpen me. If they say that, I don't know who said, I think it's a rapper that said, I feel comfortable when I'm in the room, I'm in a room full of sharp minds. And like
That
all of
sounds
the
like a
minds
J.
around
Cole
me.
mind. That sounds like a J. Cole mind.
Like, be the dumbest person in the room. Why? Because all the sharp minds around you will teach you something. But if you're in a room where you feel like there's nothing I can learn from these people, that might be a potentially dangerous place. Because what are you then learning from these people? So if you're surrounded, or if you can do, if you can ensure that you sort of surround yourself with people, actively go looking for these things. And that's what I do. Go to networking events. At work, when there's opportunities, take them up. Where you are in a room full of sharp minds that can help align you. Do more of those things. And on SWAT, it's like a bit of a mentorship, just from a distance. The person doesn't actually know that they're mentoring you, but you're being mentored by them. So that's how I went about looking for mentorship.
And something I see a lot today is therapy. How important, guys, let's be honest now, how important is going to therapy as a human being, let alone a man. I went to therapy for the first time last year. Shout out Rosebank Union Church. I don't even know if they will be watching, but anyway, it was like, wow, this is nice. Yes, I speak to my boys, I speak to my mom, I speak to my sister, but it's different having a stranger listening to you. So I will fully recommend therapy, but in order to get there, there's a step of vulnerability that needs to happen. So what are you guys saying about therapy?
Why don't you share I've never been to therapy, so it's foreign to me to share my life with someone that I don't know. So if I may, why did you go to therapy, and how do you offload on someone you have
no knowledge of? How I went, I was really suffering with the lockdown, and I'd spoken to a friend of mine who went to this therapy, but it was online, so like face to face, Zoom call. And I just went because I just wanted to try it. I said I've got nothing to lose. Even if they judge me, so what? Because I don't know you, you don't know me, and I probably will never see you. So I just went, and I didn't even know I had to offload what I had to offload, because it was just surreal. It was a new experience. So you get there and he's asking me about me. I'm just thinking I'm talking about myself. And then he's like, oh, so this answer that you gave me, is that because of this? And I'm like, really? I think so. So it pushes you to think. For example, I had a problem with, I forgot what it was. It was something to do with my upbringing, an aspect of my upbringing. And then he was like, so you and your dad, how's your relationship? And then I said what I said, and he's like, is that because of this? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I then needed to sit back and see, oh, I've got these sort of feelings towards my dad because of X, Y, Z, and I need to fix that. Yeah.
And you see the importance that I mentioned at the beginning, being able to open up.
Yeah.
It provides healing.
You have to be vulnerable. Yeah. You have to tell yourself, I'm going to be open with this stranger, and there's no turning back. And you have to talk about it. And it was so nice because during that time I was watching that series by Mike Todd about Forgiveness Unaware or something like that, Forgiveness University, which then helped me forgive people like who hurt me even though they were unaware of the pain they caused. And all it takes is a level of vulnerability. So I want to know how important for you guys is that level of vulnerability in life with relationships and friends and family.
Corbin, have you done therapy?
Never.
Have you done therapy?
Well,
Yes or no?
going to a professional person, no. But I mean, therapy, you don't only seek it from professionals. You can seek it from your friend. Like mentorship, in a way, is therapy in it.
But he's asking for professional.
Are you asking for professional
Yeah,
one?
basically,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
How's that?
It's important, man. That thing, it's gonna make you realize things you didn't. But I think sometimes it could take you a bit too far that you don't need to be. But I think it's very important.
How do you mean?
It's too personal, and you'd be like, no, don't.
Yeah, not even
I
too
usually say, I
personal.
was like, ah, my guy.
It could even cause you to overthink certain things that are not even meant to overthink. But that's why I think if you're a Christian and you're a believer, you should go to a Christian therapist
I went to that, by the way.
who will definitely recenter you to I must decrease so he must increase kind of vibe, which is very important. But I think for me it was very important because I needed to get to another level of my life where you have to consistently die to yourself so that you can go to the next level, and so that I could achieve what I could achieve within my family, within my work, and within my business also. So that was very important. And I think if you need it, if you feel like you're locked and you feel like even the people who around you you're speaking to, it's not getting there, I think perhaps give a shout to a Christian therapist that's reputable, or someone to speak to you about it, and then do it. I think it's important.
Are you guys scared of being vulnerable?
Scared of being vulnerable? It depends who with.
Okay, let's go back to everybody likes this topic, relationships with your significant. I don't know who's single, who's not yet, but let's just say you are in one or you want to be one. Are you ready to be like proper vulnerable with your woman?
I think when you get to a certain stage in your relationship, when I get to a certain stage in my relationship, then levels of vulnerability increase.
Well, you're no longer single.
When I get to a certain stage in relationships, at the point in time in my life when I may be in one, vulnerabilities can increase.
Y'all see how he did that?
But basically, at the beginning, no. I mean, yes. At the beginning, I'm not scared of vulnerability. I am not vulnerable on purpose in the beginning.
That's deep.
There's no need to be. In fact, it's too much exposure, in my opinion. You're exposing yourself too early, too quickly. That relationship might last 1 week. It might last, okay, hopefully it doesn't, but it might last a month. And then boom, then you're back to strangers. But then that person has seen an element of you that I would only like to show as someone that wants to do time with me. You feel me? So in that aspect, I'm not afraid of it, I just don't do it on purpose. With other people like family, yes, I'm vulnerable with them. I have nothing to hide from my family. So, yeah.
James?
From my side, I'm very terrified of being vulnerable. I don't know. I just think I don't have it in me to be at any point in time with anybody.
Whoa.
Fully vulnerable. I don't know. There's just something deep in me that's just pushing me to say there's certain things which I'll take with me. Nobody else must know them.
To the grave.
To the grave. Nobody else must know them. Nobody, no matter if it's my blood, my relationships, my friends, whoever it may be. Like, there's just a certain, if I may say, level which I need to keep within myself because, yeah, I think like sometimes, when people see you vulnerable, they see it as weakness and they can expose that weakness. And as you say, like, you never know what tomorrow may bring. People that you share your vulnerability with may turn the other direction tomorrow. You don't know.
Have you been disappointed by a human being before?
Definitely.
Yes. A human being. You had to say that. like it was a dog.
Disappointed men, women, like, do you ever, for lack of a better word, do you ever want to heal from that hurt? Or are you not able to put yourself in a position to be healed by that hurt?
I think personally I have been hurt before and been through
I think
that.
we all have to be.
Yeah, we've all been there, we've all experienced that, I'm sure. But then, like, once again, it just goes back to, I think, the person who you are. So for me personally, like, I believe everybody wants to, what they've been through, that everybody wants to heal, they just want to be, if I may say, happy once again, if I can say that. But for me personally, like, everything I go through in life, I try to take a lesson from it. And the lesson I took from that is what I just said now.
That's
I don't want to fully expose my vulnerability to that extent ever again.
So can I jump in there? Can I throw a span in the works?
Yes.
You know Eric Thomas? We all know Eric Thomas.
Motivational speaker.
Yeah, one of the greatest motivational speakers that I know. I don't know personally, but one of his latest podcasts, he speaks about vulnerability and healing from the past. And he said that in his marriage, he could only ever give, call it 80% to his wife. And he started, he had an encounter, he went to perform somewhere, he was in a hotel with his boys, and ladies came through to the hotel. Not for anything, that shouldn't happen. But these ladies ended up being a spiritual sort of revelation, where they were able to do the work of a therapist in Bonsoir, tu vois. So what the one lady said is that there's something that happened between your parents that to this day affects you and prohibits you from loving your wife 100%. And he's like, whoa, I'm about to do a show in front of people. This lady's telling me something about my life that she doesn't know. And he took that with him. So eventually, he cries out to God and God reveals to him that yes, what happened between your parents affects the way you love your woman. And that is why you feel that you cannot give her 100%. And when I do get married one day, I would love to give my wife 100%. So I was listening to that podcast, putting myself in that position. And he says he had to go back to his mom and confront that. So being vulnerable and say to his mom, whatever happened to him and between her and her husband, confront that because whatever it was scarred him as a child. And until he confronted that, he couldn't move forward in his personal love life. Only when he confronted that was that load lifted off of him. They buried whatever they buried, but it necessitated him to be vulnerable in front of his mother. So my question then to you is, do you see the after effects of bottling things up and being 0% vulnerable in front of anyone in your life? Are there any after effects that are negative or positive?
I think there are negative effects. Potentially there are positive ones as well. What am I doing about those negative effects? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I do believe there are effects. Like you're not meant to bottle everything up. But like I said, I feel like it's just personally mine, and I'm sure a lot of other people's nature to do that, coming back to how you're raised and so on and so forth. But I do believe one should, try and eradicate those things that you're feeling based on that vulnerability that you're hiding, because in the end, I don't know if it will happen, but I think maybe in the end, one day everything will come out and you will have no choice, because there's the light will always touch the dark. Things will always be seen come one day. But yeah, like for now you're good. Yeah, for now I'm good. I'm straight. Yeah. No. But to answer your question, yeah, definitely there are effects. I think so.
Right.
So yes, guys, we've just had a lovely conversation. Obviously, there were so many layers that we could have tapped into, but we hope that we've answered a lot of questions. And I have some questions from some of my followers on Instagram that sent through. I got like over 40 questions.
Shout out.
And some of them were similar. But I said, now let me just pick the ones that are, super, you know what I'm saying. So we'll go with Credo and we'll go around the table. So, yeah.
So, question 1 by Tamika Roxana. Shout out. Tamika Roxana.
She lives in New Zealand.
Woo-wee. Shout out to... Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Word up to the All Blacks and the Sheeps. So question 1, what do guys get offended when we just want to be friends? We don't always want a relationship. Maybe we just like your company. I don't know. I don't get offended by that.
Wait, can you please just...
Why do guys get offended when we just want to be friends? We don't always want a relationship.
So basically friend zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do gents get offended by the friend zone?
Do you get... Corba! Do tell us. What happened? Did you get offended?
No.
Is that why you're no longer vulnerable?
I think... Okay, if I may just go quickly.
Go ahead.
I feel like when any guy, when a guy reaches out to a woman, when a man reaches out to a woman, I feel like there is definitely, even though he won't admit it, deep down there's some sort of feeling that he has towards her for some other reason. And I think when she tells him that, I'm not looking for anything except for friendship, I think maybe it may hurt his ego a little bit, it may hurt his pride, it may affect him in some other way. As for the taking offense part, I think that's down to the guy. Because in the end, rejection, I don't know if you can call it rejection, but I mean, rejection is what you make of it. I mean, if you're going to beat yourself up and you're going to take offense, I feel like that's your own thing. That's your own business. So, yeah, I think it comes down to the guy. it comes down to the guy.
Yeah, basically, we're not entitled to the woman, you know. So if the woman says no, alright, cool, you know. But let's not lie, it does bruise the ego, just a teeny bit, because we have egos as gents, and we have just I'm it, you know what I mean? So when a girl's like, nah, you're not it, it's like, oh, damn, I'm really not it, jeez. You know, then it goes to the man, if you're gonna be like now down in the trenches and oh my gosh, then I think you need to sort that out because you're not entitled to the woman. So yeah, that's my answer.
Word. I agree with that.
Maybe it's also because of the lack of reciprocity, right? A lot of human interaction flows well when there's reciprocity. So if I call you, answer the phone. If I say, what's up, let's chill, maybe there's also an expectation that, cool, I'm home, come through. The minute reciprocity doesn't happen, that's where rejection or frustration can creep in. Like, I called you, I took my time to call you, I say, yo, what's up, let's do something, and you say no. Or I reached out to you, I said, I want us to be together, and you said no, you friend zone me. So you don't reciprocate what I feel, now it's just me with these feelings, and that can cause frustration. If you're the only one, even in friendship, if you're the only one doing a certain thing, and the friend doesn't consider you enough to reciprocate, or doesn't consider you as much as you consider them, it can be frustrating. So maybe that frustration can turn into offense. Like, how dare you not go out with me? Basically, I want to go out.
Hey, man. Bruh. Do I read all the three questions?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Woo. And this is directed at 243 boys. DX Bora. DX_Bora. Question number 2, she says, why do Congolese guys not go for Congolese girls? What do you mean by not go? Is like not go as in date?
Like
or not?
there's a trend now, Congolese gents are like now for him.
Fam, because many guys just want peace, chief.
Whoa, we're being honest and
They
open.
want
That escalated
peace. Choose
That's
peace.
not for you, dog. You saved this time.
I don't know. I don't know. But I think many of the guys that I know, I don't know. All of my friends, everybody that I know has married or is with a Congolese girl and is happy with a Congolese girl.
I don't want to say names.
But I do.
You take us out quickly.
I have
Just
don't worry about it.
I'm
Don't worry about it. I know you good. But I know I have a few friends and I have a few guys who have chosen peace and have chosen not to go for our sisters out there. And it be like that. I don't think you should label that onto yourself. I think you should just be. I'll give you an analogy. I once had spoken to someone who was, and she's not Congolese. She was saying like, having conversation about mentor was like, so what are you looking for in a guy? It's like, no, I need a guy to be X, Y, and Z. I need him to be kind and stuff like that. And then while we're having conversation with mates, so she decides to share her story about the situation with the guy, right? But then in the story, she was very unkind. I was like, that is very female dog-like. So you're expecting something that you are not prepared to be. You know what I'm saying? And I think accountability and the new age woman is, this is accountability, this is the new age woman. They will never meet, you know? So that's what I've seen. I'm not spreading that onto you, but if the shoe fits,
wear it and tie the shoelace tightly, bro.
Hallelujah. Well, that's my piece.
I just think the game is the game. Hey, you like what you like. Especially for me, I like if you're beautiful and you have a kind heart and you know you value the same things as me or most of it, then we're good whether you Congolese or not. So I can't answer for the guys that don't go for Congolese girls. I know that they do say a lot of the time they choose peace, but I don't know what that means. Maybe the Congolese girls can explain in the comments. But anyway, my guy.
Yeah, I'm as blank as I don't even know what to say when it comes to this. Like, at times you could play a part in who you're surrounded by. I don't know, that can play a part. If you're not surrounded by most Congolese girls, then it's only normal you go for who you're surrounded by, because that's your day-to-day people you see and people you are used to. I really don't know how to answer that.
Video. Some kid. El Suave.
Maybe it's the fact that, no, not a fact. Maybe it's because, and I'm saying maybe because I don't have too much context on this in terms of first-hand experience of not going for a Congolese girl. But maybe it's the fact of wanting something different.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
You can want that.
Maybe if you are from a family where everyone in your family has married their own, and then you are maybe in a different country, so you're out of Congo and you're in a different country and you're surrounded by something that is different, you want to experience something different. So maybe it's that. I don't know. Is it anything hostile apart from what Credo said? I mean,
Please, guys.
I don't know. I don't know what woman he's surrounding himself with, but I don't know. I don't know.
Alright.
Shout out to Congo.
They don't mean we hate you, man. Our mamas come with these, man. Calm down.
Do you have one more?
Oh yes, one last question. Sorry. I feel like you will. Is it fine if I call you Corban because it sounds better in French?
Everything is okay.
Yeah. Question number 3 by Tina _Kapinga. I'll see that.
Kapinza.
Hey, très bien. Number 3, does the way you grow up have an effect on your relationships today, romantic or platonic? Definitely has an effect. There's guys, I shared this thing with, shout out to Jideli Jidels, was good.
It's my boy.
Yes, indeed. I shared this thing with him, this article by this awesome psychiatrist. She writes an article about the whole concept of relationship and what self-love means and all of that stuff. And then she speaks about how do we actually fully discover ourselves, right, and who we really are. And she mentions that you truly discover yourself in the concept of relationships and committed relationships, whether it be friendships, siblingships, and all of that stuff. So if your committed relationships per se, and I truly believe in that, how your family, how you were brought up is very toxic, I think essentially you're going to be a toxic person. So that's why I agree. It has a major factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely I agree as well, because you know how you grow up, what you see, what you go through on a daily basis is, I don't know, you know, it's what is gonna, you know,
What you know.
it's what you know, it's what you see. So the chances of you, of course, there are outliers, there are people that want to change what they see if they don't see anything good, but I believe that the chances are that, you know, you will fall into something similar as to what you have grown up with, as to what you have been exposed to. I do believe it has an effect, yes.
Yeah, I agree as well. I fully agree 100%. The way I've grown up in this home is something I would like to emulate in my own way with my people going forward. And I also bring a lot, if not all of the elements I've learned here to my friends. Welcoming, accommodating, helping, supporting, praying for, praying with.
Come on.
I learned that here and I use it in my everyday life and I will continue to, definitely. Yeah. And knowing my parents are romantic is definitely what I will continue to do in my home with my...
You go, boy.
Nice.
I mean, I partially agree, 50-50. The agreement comes from what you guys just shared, and the disagreement is, in the end of everything, you are your own person, and you get to choose. You have a choice to make. Either you're going to follow what has affected you growing up, or you're going to change your whole life and choose what you want to work for you. It could be toxic. Yes, some people do grow up in a toxic environment, but you find that they're the best of people you can surround yourself with, because they say, listen, my family was this way, and I saw how it affected my mother, or how it affected my father, or how it affected my sisters, my brothers, and whatnot. I choose different for my kids, or I choose different for my relationships. So in the end, I really say it's a 50-50. Some people do break within that exposure. Some people, it does build them within that exposure.
100%. I agree with what Ramses said, and what everyone has said. If you take it from a biblical perspective, the Bible says, I put before you life and death. Choose life, which implies we can make a choice. It is difficult to make a choice if you've been conditioned a certain way your entire life. So if you've grown up, you're basically programmed how your parents or your surrounding programs you. And it's difficult to take those deep-rooted things out of you all of a sudden when you enter into a relationship. That's why it's important, in my opinion, to work on them from as early as possible, because there will always be effects, even if those effects, the causes of those effects or the roots of those effects are unbeknown to you. When you maybe discover that, you go to a therapy session, they'll help you think. And like, oh snap, so that's why That's why I have a predisposition towards calling these girls.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I don't cry in front of other men. Because
Sammy shady,
you
guys.
feel me? So it is difficult, I must say. I'm sure we all have traits that we may have struggled with refining, but there is a choice to make.
Cool. Please don't forget your answers, guys. Short answers. Rams, let's go.
Questions?
Yeah, short answers, James.
Yes.
Alrighty, question 1. What do you want women to bring to the table? This is by Alina Bole. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. _ at Alina Bole _. What do you want women to bring to the table?
You answer this.
Oh, damn. I go first? I mean, I wouldn't expect a woman to bring anything I can't bring to myself. I always believe in the sense of come as a whole, I come as a whole, and we work together. If I can provide food for my own table, I wouldn't expect it to provide food for the table. If I can cook for myself, like we had a young discussion earlier on, if I can cook for myself, make my own meal, I can't expect you to know how to cook and make your own meal. I mean, I'd wanted to bring to the table what I potentially can bring to the table myself or more.
Come on.
Yeah.
I just want her to compliment me, and I want to compliment her.
What do you mean? What compliments?
Because
Oh, you look good.
no, compliment. Like if I can't,
He's
let's say he wants. If I can, so can you. If I can't, then you can't. I'm saying where I don't do, because where you want, I will. Because we work together. I
feel
enjoy
that.
this.
I like that answer. I feel that.
So if you're my woman, just come to compliment me, bro.
I think there's certain things that a man can't bring, or maybe because of predisposition. There's a certain touch that a woman has that a man just doesn't have.
Yeah, we had biscuits and stuff, and I was like the guys couldn't drink it. Biscuits and chips.
So those are the qualities that I would like the woman to bring to the table, over and above, being able to be, determined, focused, serious, humble, this, that, and the third. But those things where I lack, or where I may not be as strong as you, bring that to the table. La douceur, that woman's touch,
I like zero.
Yeah, I think you guys have touched on it. Basically, lift me when I'm down, and I will lift you when you are down. Let's help one another. Let's build one another. Because in the end, gone are the days where a man has these roles, a woman has these roles. I think that's out. We need to help one another, and we need to, as Rudy said, we need to complement one another. So, and as Ram said as well, I don't expect you to do anything which I can't do. We're all equal in this thing, so we need to come with that same mentality and always build and lift each other. I think that's all that I want.
Wow.
But if she can do everything you can do, vice versa, then what's the point?
Because
No,
there are times.
whether you're here or not, I can do everything you can do.
No, like I said, there are times, like as any human, we are down. During those times, we need to be lifted up by somebody who we know can do the same as us, and we need that person, the strength of that person to lift us up, and vice versa. It works both ways.
Can also just
So
add
marry
on
a
that.
therapist, basically. Okay, go.
Can also add on. I mean, the beauty in that is you're independent. You don't need me to run your world. You have your world. Because to say that, what do you then need them for? That's like saying, let's say my world revolves around you, and that is it's a selfish statement for me. Like she has a world and you have your world, and let those two worlds work together. Like you say, it's partnership. To say that if you can't do it, or if I can't do it, then what's the point of having you? Like, am I making a point?
No. My thing was, if you can do everything I can do, why do I need you? So I was trying to poke holes in his argument to get a better understanding. That's why I appreciated Rudy's responses. I also appreciated your responses, gentlemen. I think, coming back to vulnerability, there's an element of sort of satisfaction that you can get from being vulnerable enough to say, hey, you know what, you're better at this than me. I can't do this. So compliment me and bring this to the table.
I see.
That's what I mean.
I get you.
Good one.
Vice versa, by the way.
Yeah. Incredible.
What do I expect? Sure, I love your answer, Rams. I'm gonna jack it. I expect her to compliment me in a way that what I will bring to the table, she will bring in more. I think it's that simple.
Yeah. Alrighty. Number 2, what life experiences thus far has shaped you as a man? This is by Tashka Katala.
Just one thing.
What life experiences thus far has shaped you as a man? I'd like you guys to go through first. I'm still processing that that answer.
Go to work. Yeah, that shaped me as a man because I'm not gonna lie, I grew up very, I can say comfortable in the sense that
Soft.
my sister and I, yeah, cool. My sister and I had, the only time I had to get was on the field. The only time I had to work was to get my fitness up. You know, because at home we were good. You know, I was so blessed that at home we're good. You know, we have what we need, and most times we get what we want. And then I got to a point where I was like, it's time to work. My friends started working as well. And I'm like, yo, I need to work. Mom and dad are like, okay, my boy, what's up? What are you doing? It's time to go to work. And it has shaped me. The last 3 years I've been like, yo, I am pushing because I never had to do that. So that's my experience. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I'll say that it's, being disciplined by my parents, because through an early age I learned that there's consequences for every single action that you take, good or bad. Something will happen due to the action that you have taken, and the sooner you learn that, the sooner you'll grow up and you'll realize that throughout everything in life, it's the same. Whatever you do, you will have to speak and answer to that. Yeah, I think that's what shaped me the most.
Sure. Me, what shaped me the most was when I left one of my employees and started my business. Yeah, man, that thing shapes you, man. Yo, you're in the trenches by your side. Yeah, you are fighting. But yeah, yeah, that's what shaped me the most. Like, entrepreneurship will definitely shape you and taste your wood.
Yeah,
no, like,
I can't speak to what shaped me the most, but I can speak to something that has shaped me greatly. I guess it was traveling and going to Congo. They say that in order to sort of broaden your horizon, expand your mind, travel or get out of your comfort zone and expose yourself to something different. And going, to the DRC definitely shaped the way that I view just human engagement, number one. Number two, how much more I value the elements of work and hustle, as well as just the diversity of life. That's something that shaped me greatly.
What shaped me the most, I'll say, not to get too deep into this, but I'll say an advice that my mother once gave me, telling me that, listen, nobody will do it for you the way you'll do it for you. That would stay with me since high school days, because she was always so busy that she won't even attend parent meeting, and I knew it never really bothered me. I was like, my mom is working her ass off to get me where I am here. So I knew that, listen, wherever you are right now, you're doing it for you, not for her. You need to get your things done. You need to stay out of trouble. You need to pass. You need to get them grades. And it kind of shaped me even throughout my upbringing to say, I'm never going to fail. Like, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to succeed, and I want more and more and more. So I'll say that's what shaped me. Question 3. What's your definition of a high value man? This is by at dio_con_nayo. I'm not too sure. I hope I'm getting it right. Yeah, I hope I'm getting it right. What's your definition of a high valued man? I'll say that is relative, eh, to anyone and to everyone. A high valued man for me, I'll say somebody who loves God, somebody who has a relationship with God, and somebody who knows not just God even in itself, somebody that has a form of morals and know how to treat people. I mean, we've seen people that do go to church but don't know how to treat their others. They're still very much evil at heart, despite saying, I love God, I go to church. For me, going to church doesn't put your bar here. What's within the heart is what puts your bar up there. So for me, really knowing how to treat people, it's very important. No matter how big they are, no matter how small they are, treat people the right way.
Just on my exact same values, so that's my answer, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say something completely different.
Go ahead, man.
Go for it,
bro.
Just into it.
But Rams, that really touched me what you said. But okay, if I go the other direction, I think like a high valued man in society's view is somebody that can take care of themselves, that is sufficient by themselves, and if anybody were to join them, it will simply add on to that.
That's a good answer. That's different. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, I agree with you also. High value man, self-sufficient, can take care of the people who are around him. I think a lot of the times when they speak about high value, women always ask, what's a high value man? We have Proverbs 31. What's for men?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, here's one for you. Yeah?
Tell them.
Just go to Job 29. Just read that whole chapter. Job 29, from verse 1 all the way to 33. That's a high value job.
High value man is someone who, Credo said this at the very beginning, as close as possible to being holistic. Not only in one element are you disciplined or are you focused, but if you are able to, and I think we all are, trying to work at holistic self-development in all areas, it increases your value, definitely in my opinion. Because you have a lot to bring to the table, and you can, if you're holistically developed in multiple domains, then I think it would be easier for you to also be able to impact other people positively. Because the quote that I came across that said, we're not measured by material things or by how much money you have or how much this you have, but how many, I think a rapper said it, how many millionaires have you made? Not how many millions you have, how many millionaires did you create? Now let's remove it from the rap context and say, how good is a manager? Well, how many other managers did he make? How many other good people did you help form, shape, and mentor and create? So you can do that from a good place if I believe you're self-developed holistically.
From Glory Angelique. Why do guys take it the wrong way when girls say to them that they want financial security?
That's a good question.
Who are these guys, man? What's that?
That's a good question. I think again it goes back to ego, because already guys want to be the one providing for you. Why you want to remind them? And then on the other side, some other guys could be like, oh, what do you bring to the table? You talking off of dad's money, So there's those are the elements. So that's my understanding. Some guys can say, what do you bring to the table? Why are you talking off your dad's money? Other guys can be like, I don't need the reminder. I'm already working so hard, So that's just my understanding.
Sure. Maybe the ones that take offense portray that as, or perceive that as ill-intentioned.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a gold digging move.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to provide financial security? No. Maybe that's why
probably,
take offense to that.
Hello, Rams.
Yeah, I don't understand that question in the same. What does financial security look like? Because some girl, you could come from a house where, they bought you a Beamer and stuff as your first car, and to you, they bought you a Beamer and like you go on holiday every quarter and stuff like that. That could be financial security for you. Other people, it's like, nah, bro, as long as my babe got me a car and we go on holiday once a year, and our bills are paid for. You know what I'm saying? I think you have to define what financial security is for you. And once you have done that, then you can move to the next place. I don't think guys are just saying, I want financial security, and you are saying no. They're just saying no. I think some girls are defining financial security based on IG. So now when you come to a guy who's your age, 25, 26, we've just started working. We're just finding our way in this thing, but they want NBA player financial security chief. Let's be realistic, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's that. I think it's the questions to go back to them and say, what does it mean to you? This is what I have. And if this is what I have and this is what I want to build, and if what I have and what I want to build is not sufficient for you, then I think you have the freedom to
Deuces.
chat.
Man, like Pierre doing nothing.
For me, I think it comes back to what Credo was saying. I think a lot of women base this thing on modern day standards. Like they see things on the likes of Instagram, so on and so forth, and they get this perception that, the guy's going to provide X, Y, and Z for them, whereby if you look at it in a realistic point of view, it's very rare that you'll actually find that. So in our mind, like when we hear, you must provide financial security, we thinking that, this woman wants X, Y, and Z. Meantime, we know we can't, we think we cannot, provide that to them. So I think
right now, at least
at this point in time. So I think that's why we take it in the wrong way, because I don't know. I think I sort of get the sense that we must just provide everything, and everything must be on a silver platter, which is not the case. It cannot be the case right now at least. So I think that's why we take it in the wrong way.
So that Instagram lifestyle that you speak about, it is sort of in essence like you want the ladies have an expectation that the guy must provide it for them, right?
Yeah, hold on, and I want to be very clear, because people sometimes they have selective listening. I started my answer by saying you have to define what it is for you, and I gave 2 examples, right? So please bear that in mind. Some people are happy with the simpler things in life, other people are not, they want high level. If you want high level, that's only 1% of men in the world. And if you only like black men, that's 0.00. Yeah, so choose your struggle. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you want Instagram lifestyle, the Holy Ghost provide. But if you want normal lifestyle where wealth, true wealth, honest wealth is built, find character, man. Find a man who's doing right by his family and he's taking care of them and he's building himself towards a high level. Then settle with that.
Yeah.
Don't go dilly-dally. My answer was too long.
Next question.
Okay, this one is from Winvey. Why don't guys openly talk about things that hurt them?
I think we answered it, like vulnerability, not being able to be openly vulnerable. Yeah, I think we covered that.
I think we covered that one. The third question. This is from Candice _
Candid.
Oh, Candid, sorry. This is from Candid _
Say Candid.
Candid.
Oh, okay. Okay, excuse my pronunciation. What? It's from Candid _
Okay.
LK.
Yeah.
Why date a girl for so many years if you know for a fact that you don't see yourself marrying her? That's the question.
Yo.
Any takers?
I'm 25, dog. Ask the guys.
Yo. For so long.
What's 7 years?
If you don't see yourself marrying her.
I think, let's be honest, when you know, you know.
That thing that makes me...
Okay, we'll
makes me shaky. But I think, Sam, I want you to go first because I spoke the last time and I was having a too big mouth on things.
Yo, look, I mean, if you're with someone that knows for a fact that he's not going to marry you, but he's still staying in the relationship, that's I don't know, that's ill-intentioned, man. But for those that may not know that whether or not they want to marry you, they might be taking the time to understand whether or not they really do want to, marry you and spend the rest of their life with you. And it may take long for others. Some people meet, get engaged, and get married in 4 months or in 12 months. It's happened. I know people. Some people meet, get engaged, get married over the span of 7 years or 10 years. And it depends on who you're with, I would say. Maybe set that expectation as a woman from the get-go. Or also from a man. Maybe set that expectation as well at the beginning and say, look, I take my time in relationships. So I'm not looking to get engaged in the next 3 years.
Yeah. Bro, I'm
being open,
and I think, please, ladies, please get this thing out your head. If a guy knows, he knows, and all of that stuff. Some guys waste your time, and and I think it's pretty evident, and you yourself, you know it. But I can give you an example. I have some of my closest friends, one who's happily married right now. We're at varsity together. He dated his girl for 8 years, and now they're happily married. But they met in varsity, first year, second year, finish, masters, goes, he works, and then he had told her that was the plan. She supported it, and then they got married because he's a man of integrity. He followed through and made it happen, right? There's another one of my friends who dated his girl for 6 years, and then they got married. They got a beautiful son right now. There's another friend of mine who's about to get married. He dated his girl for 6 months. So I think at the end of the day, the responsibility falls also on both of you, but it's also, you're also capable to discern and see that like this guy is serious about where he's going. And I think it's also about the seasons that you are in. A lot of that, what I would advise guys, me, knowing what I know now, is chief, if you find someone that you're going to settle down with in university and you can't take care of yourself, yeah, sharp, do it, because there's no cookie cutter to this life thing. But if you haven't, and you're not self-sufficient and you can't really take care of yourself, like pay for your own bills and all of that stuff, bruh, you need to think twice before you jump into a relationship like that, because now you find you're in a deep relationship and you're trying to discover yourself within the relationship. That's not, and she's also trying to do that. And if a vision is not really in that same space, and then it's conflicts, it's fight, you don't need that, man. I think both people need to be within the same frame of mind, committed to a certain vision, and then you go out, you'll make it happen.
Let's go, Sam.
What is the one thing you change about yourself? From Presh_Yia. One thing I change about myself.
We answered this, no?
I don't know if this is physically or if this is a character thing, but from a character
something to change
perspective.
about yourself physically.
Physically, I wish I was a little bit taller.
This handsome 6'9" man is crying. Get out of
What I
here.
would change about myself is something I'm already changing about myself: impulsiveness. Yeah.
Fredo, one thing.
One thing would I change about myself? Woo. Definitely, I think a thing that I'll definitely change about myself is to sometimes not be too light, like take things lightly. You know, to sometimes be like, yo, listen, right now you're crossing the line. You're about to meet the serious grader, and it's about to go down. At times I'm very much like, you can say something mean to me, I'll just play it off, I'll just brush it off, whatever. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay, like I touched on earlier, like going back to what Sam said, that impulsiveness from my perspective, just to think before I respond to anybody, just to take that second to take in what they have said and respond in a way in which they will be more responsive and more understanding.
I would definitely just to be less intense, as I've spoken about earlier. But yeah. Go on.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, to be my biggest fan yet again.
What part of your character could or has been considered as a red flag from @O_Kevina?
Vina.
It would be, I like to call it passion. The passion with which I set expectation and I execute things
Me and Sam have the same thing.
has been considered a red flag
Yeah.
because it is, when it comes out in diverse ways. Never physically, verbally, in the form of a sharp tongue that that expects certain. I expect of you what I what I can do, and if my standard is this, then I expect your standard to be this as well. And when it's not, then you're disappointed, and when you're disappointed, you can react and you can speak and say things that may be very hurtful. But it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
It's come from a good place, that's for sure.
Definitely from the best place ever. But yes,
I just want the best for both of us.
That's what I'm saying. 100%.
And the problem with that is that I think, people like us would think that me wanting the best for both of us, that is the best. What if her way is the best?
Exactly.
You feel me?
If we're going to talk of accountability, we will be accountable to each other. Rams, what's up?
A red flag.
Be honest, bro.
I can't really point at anything right now.
Whoa.
Le garçon parfait.
But,
Okay.
I think you can go now. Give me some time. Give me some time to think about this.
Okay, for me, I did touch on it earlier, the thing of, I've been told, like, in these exact words, like, the fact that I bottle things up is not a good thing because one day it'll all come out. Yeah, I think that's what I can say.
It just takes that trigger, man. Whatever that trigger is one day.
Yeah, that's me.
Hectic. Yeah, me, I can be passive aggressive, and yeah, that's not cool. It's like, yeah, I'll just remind you. Remember that time when you did that? Girl, this looks like it's happening again. We need to stop. So
That's
yeah,
deep. That one is deep, eh?
that one is nasty. It's actually very bad. So Holy Ghost fire
I know you got this. You can do
upon
it.
this thing. But yeah, we'll go.
Cool. Rams? Surely you've been told that every place exists in a relationship previous.
Red flag. What could be a red flag from my characters?
Anything that anyone in your family or previous relationship has told you that I don't like this?
Oh, having a lot of female friends. Most of the females do consider that a red flag.
There we go.
Yeah.
And it says,
You have a lot of female friends.
yo, dog.
This is nice, babe.
It's normal. It's normal.
Chief.
Anyway.
To me, it's normal, but of course, to the next, it could be different. I mean, we're all different, you know. We all see things differently. So
Yeah.
for many, like that's a red flag. But yeah.
Gomez, you have a lot of chick friends.
I don't. No,
Oh.
I don't. Unfortunately.
Cool. Okay, third question. What should a healthy relationship provide for the people involved? At Adi Kalabo, it should provide peace. I'm at a certain stage in my life where, over and above anything else, the first priority is let's have a peaceful relationship. But obviously, what does that translate into? So let's be practical. What are the things you look for in a potential wife? When you're at a stage where you're not out here playing games, you're looking for someone to settle down with. What are those things that you identify as things that you want? Identify them and find someone who can who ticks the boxes as best as possible. And when those boxes are ticked, and you're not too exigeant, what's exigeant?
Exigent.
Demanding,
Demanding,
you know,
yeah.
unrealistically demanding, and you find that, I guarantee you a lot of the times it comes with peace. For example, Credo might say, I don't need someone who I can be vulnerable to or I can open up and cry to, but you might. And that brings you peace when you can cry to your partner. So find that in the relationship that you want. Yeah, peace for me.
I'll agree with that. Like with me as well, I'll say peace, peace and growth. Full stop.
Don't nag me. Tell me once, I'll do it. And peace as well, yeah. Just like, you know, as a man, you know, we work so hard, we push so hard, and the last thing I need is someone here.
Sorry, just maybe a suggestion. Let's add different elements. Personally, we'll want peace, but maybe say a different answer.
I want someone that has a sense of humor. We can laugh together, like tears. Because if I'm spending every day with you, bro, we need to laugh. Because I will get laughs from my boys and from other people. But now don't be angry when I'm laughing at other people if you laugh at me, bro. Oh, that laugh at that girl was a bit too loud, really. Funny, babes. How about that? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Let's be able to laugh together, you know. We can watch something, we can look at people, we can go out and we just... Laughter is so important.
They say laughter knocks off a certain number of years, or adds rather, a certain number of years.
Yeah.
Just the fact of being able to
Like, I
laugh.
just want to be able to laugh
To
with
your
my
life.
moment, yeah.
What was the question again?
What should a healthy relationship provide for the people involved?
So you said peace, I said laughter, you said
Growth.
growth.
For me, it ties in with what everybody said, but I think understanding. Because, you know, in this modern age, we have to make a lot of sacrifices. We have to, just an example, we have to work extended hours. We have to, you know, sacrifice a lot. So I think it's important for your partner to understand that you have to do these things in order for the relationship to work as a whole. So I think that element of understanding needs to be there. Yeah, I think the understanding needs to be there.
Can I just add on to that? Because also, I fully agree on what he's saying because understanding is key. Most people do say communication is key, but communication, you can communicate what the person is not understanding. There's no form of comprehension. I'm telling you what I want, so I'm telling you what I'm struggling with, but you're not understanding it. You know, you're saying communication is not always key, but understanding is like that key that holds you guys together. So I fully second that.
Sure, I'll say peace, bro. And why I know it's the same as everyone, but peace encompasses all those things. I think I'll have peace if I feel understood. I'll have peace if I feel the grace from your side, and I'm also giving you the grace that you deserve. Yeah, peace is very important. I'm with you, Sam. Yo, we're at the stage where we are working so hard. Life is so stressful.
I thought someone was going to say love.
No, love is a decision, man. And then
That's
when it
everything.
comes-
That's a choice you make. You wake up, you're like, yo, it's love again. Even if you're saying yo, that means it's hard, but I'm still choosing to love. Other days you wake up and you say, I'm not out of this woman. You still choose every day. And as a man, you need to make that choice and stick to it forever. Someone once told me a real man is considered to be a man by the choice he makes and sticking to that choice forever.
Doesn't love encompass everything?
After all.
True love?
After all.
It's true, eh?
But love is a decision, it's a verb.
Isn't everything else a decision that we just said?
Ooh, that's true. Also.
Because you love,
you guys
you
are
are
chopping
able
it
to
up
understand. You choose to understand. You choose to love. You choose to be gracious to the person. You choose to want to grow with this person because you love, because you choose to love. All right, people, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to the boys that came through. Thanks for availing yourself, gents. I know everyone's busy. It's a Sunday, but you know we had to do this. Thank you for the people that sent through the questions on Instagram. We try to get through as many as we could. Please don't be upset at those that got left out. And please, stay tuned for the next episode. This is your boy Rudy Samuel, and I am signing out. Yes, sir.